You finally hit the pillow after a long day. You're completely exhausted. But instead of drifting off to sleep, your brain decides to throw a party. You know the one, it's loud, it's obnoxious, and the guest list includes that conversation you're still replaying from 3 days ago, a meeting that's a week away you've already started stressing about, and a highlight reel of every embarrassing thing you've ever done. If this sounds even remotely familiar, you're not just a worrier. You're dealing with an overactive mind, a state where your brain's thought factory is stuck in overdrive. It's this relentless loop of thoughts that feels impossible to shut down. And you've probably tried it all, right? Counting sheep? Using that 5-minute meditation app that somehow made you more anxious. Maybe even just screaming stop into the darkness of your bedroom. But nothing seems to stick. What if the solution isn't about trying harder to force the quiet? What if it's about understanding the science of why your brain is so noisy in the first place? Because hidden deep within your own biology is a switch. A switch that can shift your entire nervous system from a state of chaotic high-alert stress to one of calm, focused clarity. Today, we're going to find that switch, and I'm going to show you, step by step, how to flip it. Section 1. The problem and agitation. Why your brain won't shut up. First, let's get one thing straight. Having an overactive mind doesn't mean you're broken. It's an incredibly common experience. But just because it's common doesn't mean it's harmless. This constant mental chatter is more than just annoying. It's exhausting. And it's a state where your nervous system is overstimulated, basically stuck in a low-grade fight-or-flight mode. Think of your nervous system like a car. You've got the gas pedal, the sympathetic nervous system, which revs you up to handle threats. Then you have the brakes, the parasympathetic nervous system, which slows everything down so you can rest and digest. An overactive mind is what happens when your foot is glued to the gas pedal. Your body is constantly on high alert, even when there's no real danger in sight. This imbalance doesn't just stay in your head, it shows up physically. Maybe you feel it in the muscle tension in your neck and shoulders, or through headaches, stomach issues, or a heart rate that's always a little too fast. Emotionally, it feeds anxiety, restlessness, and irritability. It makes it nearly impossible to focus, ruins your sleep, and can leave you feeling physically drained, even if you haven't moved all day. Over time, this chronic internal stress can even contribute to more serious health problems. You feel trapped. The racing thoughts cause anxiety, and then the anxiety sparks even more racing thoughts. It's a vicious cycle that can make you feel powerless, but you haven't lost your power. It's just been misplaced. And the key to getting it back is understanding what's really going on upstairs. Section 2. The science of the switch. Meet your brain's major players. So, let's pop the hood and take a look at the engine. The noise in your head isn't just random chaos. It's the predictable result of a few key brain networks that have gotten a little too good at their jobs. Let's start with the ringleader of all that worry, the default mode network, or DMN. Think of the DMN as your brain's autopilot. It's the network that hums to life when you aren't focused on a specific task. When you're daydreaming, thinking about the past, or worrying about the future, in a healthy brain, the DMN is super useful. It helps you make sense of your life and form your identity. But in an overactive mind, the DMN goes into hyperdrive. The neural pathways become so well-worn that your brain defaults to them constantly. So instead of helpful reflection, you get stuck in rumination, endlessly replaying negative stuff. Or you start catastrophizing, spiraling into worst-case scenarios. But the DMN isn't a solo act. It's egged on by other players. The amygdala, your brain's little alarm center, becomes hypersensitive. It starts flagging everything as a potential threat, which triggers stress hormones like cortisol that keep you on edge. At the same time, the hippocampus, which handles memory, can also go into overdrive. Instead of just filing memories away, it keeps replaying them, which makes you feel stuck in the past. And finally, you have the messengers. Neurotransmitters. When chemicals like serotonin and GABA's brain's primary calm-down signals are out of balance, the messages get scrambled. Too little GABA, and your brain just doesn't know how to relax. So you see, your racing mind isn't a personal failing. It's a biological state. It's an overactive DMN, a jumpy amygdala, and an unbalanced chemical cocktail all conspiring to keep that gas pedal floored. But here's the beautiful part. Because it's a biological state, we can use biological tools to change it. We can consciously hit the brakes by activating the parasympathetic nervous system. This is the switch. Flipping it sends a powerful signal from your body back to your brain, telling the DMN to quiet down, the amygdala to chill out, and the whole system to return to calm. Section 3. The solution. 7 scientific ways to flip the switch. Alright, time to go from the why to the how. These aren't just fluffy feel-good tips. These are evidence-based techniques designed to directly tap into your parasympathetic nervous system and give you back control. We're going to learn how to manually apply the brakes. The first technique is the physiological sigh. This is probably the single fastest way to hit the brakes on your stress response. It's a breathing pattern we do automatically when we're sobbing or just as we're falling asleep. And neuroscientists have confirmed it's a powerhouse for calming down fast. Here's how to do it. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Then, right at the top, take another short, sharp inhale to completely fill your lungs. It's a double inhale. Then, let out a long, slow, complete exhale through your mouth. Let's try one together. Double inhale through the nose, and a long, slow exhale out the mouth. Why does this work so well? A double inhale pops open the tiny air sacs in your lungs, maximizing how much oxygen you take in. But the long, slow exhale is the real magic. It stimulates the vagus nerve, which is the main highway of your rest and digest system. Tickling this nerve is like pulling the emergency brake on stress. It physically slows your heart rate and tells your brain you're safe. Just 1 to 3 of these can create an immediate sense of calm. If the physiological sigh is your emergency brake, think of this as your cruise control for calm. The 4-7-8 breathing method is the second technique, which is a simple rhythm that helps lull your nervous system into a relaxed state. It's easy. Inhale quietly through your nose for a count of 4. Hold your breath for a count of 7. Then exhale completely and audibly through your mouth for a count of 8. So it's in 4-4. Hold for 7. Out for 8. Repeat this for about 4 cycles. The secret sauce here is that long exhale. Making your exhale twice as long as your inhale is a surefire way to stimulate that vagus nerve we talked about, tipping the scales from stress to calm. It forces a slowdown and can significantly cut down anxiety in just a few minutes. The third technique is the brain dump journal. An overactive mind feels cluttered because it's trying to juggle everything at once. Your worries, your to-do list, random ideas, that thing you should have said in an argument. Journaling acts like an external hard drive for your brain. The act of writing thoughts down gets them out of the swirl in your head and onto a piece of paper you can actually manage. Here's how to do a brain dump. Before bed, or anytime you feel overwhelmed, grab a pen and paper. For 5 or 10 minutes, just write. Write down everything. Don't censor it. Don't worry about spelling or making it neat. Just let it flow. Worries, fears, frustrations, grocery lists, get it all out. This works on a couple of levels. First, it frees up brain space. Your mind no longer has to waste energy trying to remember it all. Second, it gets your worries out in the open where you can look at them more objectively. Often, when you see a fear written down on paper, it shrinks and loses some of its power. Progressive muscle relaxation, or PMR, is known as the fourth technique. All that mental stress has to go somewhere, and it usually ends up as physical tension. You clench your jaw, you tighten your shoulders, and you might not even notice you're doing it. PMR is a technique that breaks this cycle by having you intentionally tense and then release different muscle groups. Find a comfortable spot, sitting or lying down. Start with your feet. Squeeze the muscles in your toes and feet as tight as you can for about 5 seconds. Really feel it? Then let it all go and notice that wave of relaxation that flows in. Hang out with that feeling for about 15 seconds. Then just move your way up your body. Tense and release your calves, then your thighs, and your glutes, your stomach, your hands, your arms, your shoulders, and finally your face. By going through your whole body, you not only learn where you're holding tension, but the deep relaxation that follows the release sends a powerful signal to your brain that it's safe to calm down. The fifth technique is grounding through the senses. When you're lost in thought, you're not in the present moment. You're trapped in your mind. Grounding techniques are designed to snap your attention out of your head and back into the real world, right here and now. The 5-4-3-2-1 method is a super simple way to do this. Wherever you are, just pause and gently notice. 5 things you can see. Name them silently. The pen on your desk, cloud outside the window, the light on the wall. For things you can physically feel, the texture of your shirt, your feet on the floor, the back of the chair, a cool breeze. 3 things you can hear. The hum of the fridge, a distant siren, the sound of your own breath. 2 things you can smell. Maybe there's coffee in the air or the scent of soap on your hands. 1 thing you can taste. Just notice whatever's there. This exercise forces your brain to switch from abstract thinking to concrete sensory input. It interrupts that obsessive DMN loop and anchors you in the present, which is almost always calmer than the scary places our minds can go. Engage in a flow state is the 6th technique. Have you ever been so into something that you completely lose track of time? That's a flow state. You might find it while painting, playing guitar, gardening, coding, or even playing a video game. Scientifically, a flow state is when you're so deeply concentrated that your sense of self just kind of fades away. This is pure neuroscience in action. When you're in flow, activity in the part of your brain that handles self-criticism and worry, the DMN actually quiets down. Your inner critic takes a nap because your brain is too busy with the task at hand. You're not thinking about yourself, you're just doing. Find something that's challenging enough to keep you engaged, but not so hard it's frustrating. Making time for flow isn't an indulgence, it's a necessary tune-up for your brain. It gives that overactive default mode network a much-needed vacation. The last technique is about the power of movement. Exercise is one of the best tools we have for managing our mental state. When you get moving, your body literally burns through stress hormones like cortisol. At the same time, it releases endorphins, which are your body's natural mood boosters. You don't need to run a marathon. A brisk, 20-minute walk can make a huge difference. The rhythm of walking can be incredibly meditative, helping to quiet the mind, while the physical effort gives a healthy outlet for all that pent-up anxious energy. Doing this regularly builds up your resilience to stress over time, making it less likely for your brain to get stuck in overdrive in the first place. These tools are incredibly powerful, but they only work if you use them. Your brain has spent years building and strengthening the highways for overthinking. It's going to take a little time to pave these new roads to calm, so start small. Pick just one of these techniques, maybe the physiological sigh or the 4-7-8 breath, and just commit to trying it the next time you feel your mind start to spin out. I'd genuinely love to hear from you. In the comments below, let me know which of these you're going to try first. Or, if you have a go-to method that already works for you, please share it. Your experience could be exactly what someone else needs to see today. And if you found this helpful and want more science-backed ways to master your mind, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss what's next. That feeling of an overactive mind, the non-stop mental chatter, can feel incredibly lonely. It can feel like your own brain has turned on you. But it hasn't. Your brain is just running a program it learned, a program fueled by stress and locked in by habit. But you're not the program, you're the programmer. It's by understanding the science, by recognizing the tug-of-war between your stress response and your calm response. By seeing how your default mode network works, you shift from being a victim of the noise to being an active director of your own mind. The power to quiet your mind doesn't come from some magic pill or secret chant. It comes from your body. It comes from using your breath, your senses, and your muscles to send a clear, powerful message back to your brain that says, it's okay, you're safe, you can hit the brakes. Flipping that biological switch is a skill. Like any skill, it gets stronger with practice. So be patient with yourself. Be consistent. You have the tools. You understand the science. You have everything you need to turn down the volume and finally find the peace that's waiting on the other side of all that noise.